Kathie Moffat. She's one of the best of the worst. She's a liar, she's a thief, and she's a murderer. And she's one of my favorite femme fatales.
You didn't have to kill him.
Yes, I did. You wouldn't have killed him.
And Kathie takes center stage in 1947's Out of the Past. She's beautiful, and she is oh so very, very complicated. Produced by RKO and directed by Jacques Tourneur, 1947's Out of the Past stars Robert Mitchum as Jeff Bailey, a former private investigator who has tried to leave his shady past behind and start a new life in a small California town. He's got a good gig and a nice girl, Anne, but he's also got a secret. And the past he is running from catches up to him when an old associate, Joe Stefanos, discovers him completely by chance.
That Bailey who burns you up, he run the gas station?
You know him?
I might have, once.
Stefano works for Kirk Douglas's Whit Sterling, a wealthy gambler and slick operator, and Sterling has been looking for Jeff for a while.
Same guy. Time-proof, weatherproof.
But this part of the story is told in flashback. Jeff is telling Anne about his past. 3 years ago, Sterling needed a detective to find his missing girlfriend, Kathie. You see, Kathie shot him 4 times and took off.
With $40,000.
I want her back.
All the money?
Just want her back.
So we hear about Kathie before we ever see her.
Kathie Moffat.
When Kathie first appears on screen, we see Kathie how Jeff remembers her.
And then I saw her, coming out of the sun.
She's cool, she's reserved, and she's beautiful, with big round eyes and a sly smile. Jeff falls for her. And from the beginning, she twists the truth.
There was a little business about $40,000.
I didn't take it.
Did you know it was
She's
taken?
dangerous, and she never lies about that.
I'm sorry he didn't die.
But she also never talks about her past, and she remains a mystery. And we really don't know what she wants beyond self-preservation, and she swears she didn't take that $40,000. Instead of returning her to Whit, the two run off together, and they hide in San Francisco. But they aren't as smart as they think they are. And when they're discovered and confronted by Jeff's former PI partner, Jack Fisher, a dark and perverse side of Kathie that obviously has always lurked under that beautiful facade resurfaces.
Why don't you break his head, Jeff?
The look on her face here is one of intoxication and thrill. She's excited by the violence, and we are genuinely surprised as Jeff, because this isn't the same woman who was frolicking in the moonlight in Acapulco. Then, despite all her talk of love, she splits, leaving Jeff to clean up her mess and discover the truth.
But I didn't take his money.
Molly Haskell called Kathie Moffat one of the most unforgettably rotten women in the movies, and she is. The question is, what does Kathie want? Phyllis Dietrichson wants to kill her husband and collect on his insurance. Vera wants to swindle a dying rich man by having Al Roberts pretend to be the man's dead son. Ellen Barrett, she just loves too much, and she wants her husband's absolute and undivided attention. Kathie has no long game or master plan. Her maid, played by the great and insanely underused Teresa Harris, tells us,
You work for Catherine Moffat?
Not anymore. She's gone. She got pushed around.
which gives us some clues into Kathie's relationship with Whit.
You dirty little phony.
She just acts in the heat of the moment. It's action, reaction, lies, and self-preservation.
You're like a leaf that the wind blows from one gutter to another. You can't help anything you do, even murder.
Eddie Muller, writing in the book Dark City Dames, notes that Jacques Tourneur understood that any mystery story with a woman at the core was ultimately a story about the mystery of women, about the unfathomable depths beneath their placid surface, and about man's uncontrollable urge to dive in. Passivity allowed the male viewer to project his fantasies and desires on a stunning, tough, seemingly soulless woman. And although Jeff and Whit are antagonists, This is not the story of two men battling each other. This is a story of a woman manipulating two men. There's always a sense that she has more information than everyone else. She's the ultimate force pulling the strings.
Jacques Tourneur, at that time, didn't speak English very well. And in speaking of the part, he said to me, "Do you know the word impassive?" And I said, "Yes, I know that word." He says, "That's what I want, impassive." I said, "Yes, I know, I can do that." He said, "First half, good girl. Last half, bad girl." That's all I needed to know.
So now that Whit's found Jeff, he's got another job for him. Jeff thinks he's under no obligation to do anything for Whit because Whit has no clue about his relationship with Kathie. I mean, who would have told him?
You remember Kathie, don't you?
Yeah, I remember Kathie.
She shot this man 4 times and stole his money. She didn't have to go back. She had the $40,000. Kathie, what are you doing? And why are you doing it?
You see, Jeff, you owe me something. You'll never be happy until you square yourself.
When Jeff heads to San Francisco, he's told to meet up with Amita Carson, secretary to Leonard Eels, the man who is the source of Whit's tax problem. Jeff's no dummy. He knows it's a frame-up.
You worried about something?
I don't know, should I be?
Not if you do what you're told.
And as far as Jeff is concerned, Mita and Whit are 2 of the principals in this deadly game.
Am I being brought up here to leave my fingerprints around? On the other hand, maybe it does. You know, it could be that I'm the Patsy and you're on the spot.
So imagine his surprise when you-know-who shows up dressed in black and up to no good.
Mr. Tillotson, this is Mr. Eel's secretary. I'm worried about Mr. Eel.
She's in on it, too. Boy, does she lie.
Better slip up, baby.
She's so good at it.
Did you by any chance send your friend up there to find Eels dead?
No, Jeff.
They told you they were going to knock him off, and they haven't done it, have they? They haven't because I tipped him off. He blew.
He's all right?
Didn't you want him to be?
Yes. Yes, because if he dies, they'll say you did it.
Ma'am, you just tried to frame him for murder.
And you did tell him about Fisher. When you told him I did it. Perfect.
Kathie becomes 100% committed to whatever scheme she's in on at the time until it's not working for her. Then she moves to push the odds in her favor.
Put in a call for Whit Sterling,
Now,
please.
sit down. We better keep Whit out of this.
He's right, Kathie.
5 minutes later,
That's right. Whit Sterling's at the Blue Sky Club in Reno. Shut the door.
throughout the film, Tourneur drops visual clues about Kathie's true nature through her wardrobe. It goes from bright white and light colors into darker colors and shades of gray and into black. Her final outfit has her looking like a holy sister in service of the dark arts.
She can't be all bad. No one is.
And we know that. We've seen another side of her in Acapulco and San Francisco. But how much of that is real? She can't be all bad, but she's bad enough. I think she loves Jeff in her own way, but her way is no good. She's not 100% committed, because at the end of the day, she's only looking out for herself and her own best interest.
Go on, Kathie. Tell him about Joe.
I didn't send him after Jeff. It was his own idea.
And just so we know how bad Kathie is, she stands in stark contrast to Anne, the small-town good girl that Jeff falls for after he begins his new life. Anne is open and earnest, and above all, she trusts him. She trusts his word. She loves him. Does he still love Kathie? And if he does, how much?
Be very sure that there isn't even a little bit of love left for her.
Kathie's complexity makes her such a compelling character. She leaves you with 1,000 questions. How much of her was that girl in Acapulco? Were Jeff's memories of Kathie completely unreliable?
I never told you I was anything but what I am. You just wanted to imagine I was.
There are 8 million stories in the cinema cities. This has been one. I want to give a heartfelt shout out to all my monthly channel subscribers. If you'd like to support the channel, check out the links in the description below.